just need a little sweet treat after dinner. Oh, just a little something.
Yeah.
Just a little something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a little something on the
cream
palate.
Puffs. I had cream puffs right before this.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Kinda dropped off all the things I love. Like I need a traffic jam to keep in touch. I can't focus on the words unless my hands are busy. I can't give up on the world or I will leave this city. And it's way too broad what I'm trying to say, but I write it down and let it go. And it's hard to know all the words I need to explain my heart in a single note.
Hello and welcome to WayTooBroad, a show and tell program for really, really excitable grown-ups. I'm Hannah, and these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Hannah. I thought we were recording tomorrow. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
We did too, Erin.
Changing it up, I guess. What's going on?
Yeah, actually, can we do it tomorrow?
You know? Oh my gosh. So, okay, for the listener who couldn't, there's no way in the world they could have context for this joke. No way without hacking into our private channel in our private Slack. Erin, we're going to record
forever
tonight.
tier Slack.
And Erin was like, "Hey, does tonight still work, or what can we maybe do tomorrow?" Because she worked really late, and then we were all like, "Yeah, we could make that work." And then like, I don't know, 10 minutes later, Erin was like, "I finished working, and actually, let's do tonight." So we all
got energized. Molly had me help her bring some really heavy boxes upstairs, so I got this acute hit of cardio. And then I was feeling ready to go.
Wow.
So the tides,
and then
the tides doth change.
Yeah, that's right. And then you had a nice sweet snack after dinner.
Yeah, we had a little dinner, had a little skippo, and then we had a nice little. Has I brought skippo as an obsession? Surely.
I think so.
Surely. Let's check the old topic index.
No, I don't think there's any way for us to know.
Huh. You've definitely talked about it.
It's not on here. Yeah, surely.
It's not.
Huh. Well.
Skippo.
Skip. Bo. Yeah, we talked about in episode 103, Oops, All Up Fronts.
Ah, okay, that's why. So it didn't get in the index.
Yep.
Yeah, so you were having peanut butter cups, and then you asked me about... I had cream puffs right before we started, because we'll do drinks right after this, but do you guys go to BJ's at all? Are you members?
I've been there.
Of the exclusive club of BJ's?
I'm not.
I have been there.
Yeah, they have these frozen
I've had those.
mini cream puffs that you can just buy, and then it says to thaw and eat them, but I eat them frozen.
Hannah, I've not been less surprised by anything in my whole life. I in fact had my stomach was dropping as we were heading in, because I suddenly realized milliseconds before you said that, I'm like, oh no, she eats them frozen.
Well, here's the thing though. If you thaw them, they're good, but you can't really eat them in more than one bite, because the cream will squeeze out onto you and the world. If you eat them frozen, then it's like a little... Have you ever eaten frozen Cool Whip? It tastes like that.
Okay.
I love that. It's good.
That's great. I'm glad that you're following your bliss. I wish I had mentally prepared a little more. I should have been prepared for that. But I like that you do you.
Thanks. Would you like to know what I'm drinking? Now that you know what I ate?
And then we need to know...
I had a chocolate chip cookie.
Yeah. And our question to Ben was, did it have chocolate chips in it?
It did. I didn't make any... Actually, I didn't make any chipless ones this time.
Wait, so you have made 2 batches of chocolate chip cookies since we last. Oh, that's the other thing I was gonna say. It has felt like we had not talked in weeks for the last 2 recordings, and then this time it feels like we talked yesterday. Like I feel like we just got done recording last week's episode.
That's true. That is true.
When did we record last week?
Friday. Yeah.
Yeah, I've made 2 batches of
Wednesday.
cookies since then. That's true.
Wow.
It's
a cookie. It's a cookie boy.
I just
It's a cookie
love
boy.
them. They're good.
Ben, would you say you're a cookie boy?
Yeah, I'm a cookie boy.
Ben, do you dip them in milk? Are you a milk boy?
I don't usually. Kylie does.
Yeah,
Do you drink milk with a cookie?
No.
You have a cup of milk? And milk in sight? No milk?
I mean occasionally, but not typically, no.
I don't like dip my cookies in milk, but if I can't like visually see a cup of milk, I can't have a cookie.
No milk in sight.
Sight. Gotta have it. Safety blanket. Well, in case you want it, in case you have a sudden craving, when you need a cup of milk, it's like urgent.
Yeah. Everybody knows that.
Everyone knows that. Okay, Hannah, what are you drinking?
Okay, I have just one drink.
Wait. The first shall be last. Okay, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's also not that. It's last shall be first.
No.
No,
First shall be
it's
last.
the other way.
I was thinking it was the last shall be first, and I went last. Hi, Kylie. Last
Hi, Kylie.
time.
I won't tell her.
Okay. I'm gonna text
Yeah,
her.
no,
I didn't even ask.
it's a pop and a push, Ben. So
Yeah.
just think
Text
of it
Kylie
like
and say hi.
a pencil.
Ready to send it?
Did that just happen like I thought it happened?
What
Kylie has
happened?
Kylie has an ice water, and she was bending over to pick something up or move something and just tucked it under her arm and dumped the whole fucking thing out under the ground.
So she tucked it under her arm and then bent over and spilled it out. Amazing. I was just confused.
Why'd you kick the ice? Stop kicking the ice over here.
That's incredible.
I can't. I've done shit like that before.
They're working Kylie too hard, I think.
Oh my god. That was so funny.
That's peak Wednesday, I gotta say.
Yeah. That's the hump right there. It's all downhill from here. So
Sorry, Hannah, what are you drinking?
all right, I got one little drink of cranberry juice.
Cute.
It's 100% juice. Have you guys seen this? It's ocean spray. Wait.
Check this fucking shit out. Not a single percent of anything else.
You guys heard of this?
It's like cashews all over again. No, it's 100% juice, but
They squeeze the fruit and this shit comes out. Can you believe this shit?
And then they don't put anything else in the bottle.
okay, it's 100% juice. But I have had 100% cranberry juice before, and it's extremely tart. Like you have to water it down. Okay, this is not. And so I was like, "What's up with that? Like, how can it be no sugar added and 100% juice?" And so, what's the deal with that? So then I,
Is this your stand-up routine?
yeah. So then I mentioned it to Ian, and he said, "Yeah, it's 100% juice, but it's not all cranberry juice." And lo and behold, I look on the back, and there's like fucking apple juice in there. There's like a couple of other types of juice, so that they can say 100% juice. But then if you look in the little fine print, it says cranberry blend.
Wow.
Bitch, that's sneaky as fuck.
Cranberry juice probably isn't even the most, like, it's not the first ingredient, I would imagine, is it?
I think it is. I think it is.
All right, that's respectable.
Yeah.
You can cut this out. Is this cranberry juice for business or leisure?
No, it's not. I don't have a UTI.
You absolutely cannot cut that out.
It's an innocent question. Sometimes, sometimes it's both. Sometimes throw a little shot of vodka in there and you're going to burst someone's down.
Yeah, but no, I just like juice. That's all that's going on there. I swear.
Excellent.
Erin, what are you drinking?
I just got Kylie welcome. I sent Kylie a text, hi, and she just said welcome back. But it was so disorienting. What am I drinking? Just a lemon lime seltzer and some well water.
Some well water. Yeah, from your tap.
Yeah, from a tap. Ben, what are you drinking?
Water. I got a big, I think, was this a pickle jar, Kylie? Yeah, it's a pickle jar.
Nice.
Full of water now. The other day, instead of putting the empty pickle jar in the recycling, Kylie took the wrapper off and put it in the sink. And I was like, why did you do that? And she was like, when we were at Erin and Molly's, I remember we used a lot of jars as glasses, and I really liked how it held more water than I expected. And so I thought we could use this as a new cup. And I was like, that's weird. And now I've just only been using that because it holds more water than you expect.
Oh my God. Hold on. I have it. Hold on. I gotta show you this. I thought I didn't have it up here, but I do.
We can't have a podcast where Hannah doesn't step away completely. It's
especially when I'm talking.
Yeah. Exclusively when you're talking. Welcome back. We're not talking about you.
Yeah,
No,
I bet
not even a little bit.
This is this glass is as big as my head.
That's a quart. It's a quart mason jar.
Yeah, and I love it. I drink from it all the time. And every time I drink water from it at work, my boss says she thinks I'm drinking moonshine. So
for the listener, Hannah's pressing this quart mason jar against her face.
Just to show how big it is. As big as my head.
To only us.
Hannah's got a quart-sized head.
In height, at least. Yeah,
Ben's
Ben's
also
only
pressing
like
the jar
half
against his head.
Yeah, but mine's
half
wider.
head. Yeah, yours is wider. But mine's pretty wide also.
Should I do that?
Man, I wish I had liquid in it.
Yeah. We're just learning physics, water physics on this podcast today. Ben's got water. Did he already say that? Yeah, talked about the pickle jar.
I have another cup of water locked and loaded also for when the pickle jar is empty.
Nice.
Do you remember when I feel like when I started high school, I had a water bottle that was green and said pickle brine on it that I always use. It was like a joke water bottle. Oh,
It's a hilarious joke.
So random, OMG.
I have an upfront. I was talking to my friend Sam today. This is Sam C. And she was listening to the pod and said, specifically the part where Hannah, you were talking about how you just like won't take medication if you have a headache, but will take it immediately upon menstrual cramps. And I said I was the same way. She was like, I am the exact same way.
What's up with us?
I don't know.
Understand this at all.
What I was theorizing, I think it's interesting. We have some interesting data. I'm wondering if there's others out there. What I'm wondering is because like we take so much painkillers every month for a whole week. I feel almost a little gun shy about like taking it other times because like a headache is like not as bad. Like a headache, what the fuck ever. But like cramps, like not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So,
And
I don't know
about that.
But I still don't even get that.
because like ibuprofen can like, you know,
Suck my dick.
that's exactly what I was gonna say. No notes.
Ibuprofen I kind of get because that's one like that if you don't take with food it can actually like hurt your stomach and stuff.
Yeah.
But like acetaminophen, I don't understand this scenario at all.
Here's something I don't understand. The difference between those two. And I don't choose my own medication. When I feel bad, I go to Ian and I say, Ian, what drug should I take? And then he tells me which drug.
Mr. Pharmacist. Well, acetaminophen.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I'm weird on acetaminophen anyway because like you can really easily overdose on it and then it can like kill your liver. I'm an ibuprofen gal.
You can?
Oh yeah, that's like a huge thing. There's a whole This American Life about it.
I alternate between the two.
You can like even if you take like please fact check me, but I think it's the difference of like if you take like one extra pill of acetaminophen, you can overdose and like damage your liver. So I think in like non-overdose doses, it's fine, but I'm like weird on it. Ibuprofen can like can suck my dick and deteriorate your stomach lining. And so I'm just kind of like,
but only if you don't take it on a full stomach, right?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Do I look like a fucking doctor wizard?
How do I know how
But
full
also,
my stomach
like,
is?
But also, here's the thing about both of those is that, once again, the scenario we're talking about is like when you get a headache taking the recommended amount of drug.
I know. I'm not saying it's logical. I'm saying it's interesting that there are now 3 of us who have this very weird behavior.
That's a great line.
I'm not saying it's logical. I'm saying it's interesting. I mean, you're right. It's interesting. I can't argue with that. And I won't.
Good.
Great.
So.
I have upfronts. I have several upfronts. Ian started playing Eastward. He's loving it. It's his new late night game now that he finished The Witcher.
I'm sorry, do you mean Eastward?
Yeah, Eastward.
Thank you.
Started playing Eastward, which I did call Westward when I went downstairs. But he knew what I was talking about. What is that? What else? Oh, Kitten update. Kitten update.
Oh, yeah, Kitten update. Thank God.
All right. Okay. When we last spoke, I think that Ian and I were planning on letting the cats out soon, but we had not done that. So the 2 kittens.
You had even been like, "We're gonna do that tonight. We're gonna do the intro tonight with Squeaks."
We did not do it on Friday. We did it on Saturday, I think. Oh no! I'm sorry. I don't remember. Sometime this past weekend, I think it was Sunday. We got rid of the gate. We let them loose, and it's been, I would say,
It's been
1 week.
I would say it's been generally a success. Squeaks is
been generally good success.
Squeaks has been kind of monopolizing downstairs, and the kittens have been monopolizing upstairs mostly, but it's only been a couple of days. She has been doing a fair amount of hissing and growling at them when they're in like close proximity, especially if they're like face to face on the same level. But she's not stalking them. Like she's walking away, and they're not running from her. They're not acting like prey. They just kind of freeze and wait for her to leave. Which I think is really important, because when she exhibited similar behaviors with Jack, he would hide, and then they ended up in this cycle where it was just like if she could see him at all, it was like on site, like just like going for him and stuff. So if they were acting afraid of her rather than just like confused about why she doesn't want to be friends, I think that would be problematic. But she's coming around on them, and she's also like I was worried in the first day that she was not coming upstairs at all, because like their litter boxes are all up here. So I was worried that she was like gonna start like peeing and pooping downstairs, which would be a big problem. But no, like she comes up here for what she needs. And she also started coming up here to hang out with us in the bed in the morning again, which is something that she was doing every day before. So she's like putting her foot down about like, this is my space. But she's not being like super aggressive towards them. And they are just a delight and really would like to be friends with her. They've shown like no aggression whatsoever. He being Hank, the black kitty, he kind of like slinks around when he knows where she is, when she's upstairs especially. He kind of slinks around and like watches her, and like and like she'll hiss at him, and he'll just kind of like sit there and take it. And then sometimes from the other room you'll hear him just like flirting at her, or like he almost does like the Jack like yodel thing where he's like it's like very cute. He wants to be friends really badly, so hopefully they can make that happen at some point. And the other thing that's really nice is that, so like the kittens were in our guest bedroom, so they were sleeping when they wanted to not be seen. Like one of the main places they were sleeping was under the bed in there, which has plenty of room and is the same type of floor as in our bedroom. And there's not really any reason why they needed to move from there, but they haven't been under that bed at all since we opened the door. If they're under a bed, it's ours.
Oh,
which
nice.
I think is nice. I feel like it's like they want to be in our shared space with us, even if they aren't yet ready to like always be like top of the bed and like out in the room. But they have been doing that too, to some extent. It's just like if we get up and walk around, they get a little sheepish. Like they're not really sure how to deal with us like moving as much yet. But earlier today, I happened to look into the bedroom while I was during my work day, and I saw they were both sleeping on my bed in between like Ian's pillow and my pillow, which is like usually Squeak's spot, but she wasn't there. She didn't care. And so I just figured like, since they both were so like chilled out, I just figured I would go and lay on the bed and see how that went. And they were like fine with it. They like, I kind of took a separate corner, so I wasn't like right up next to them, but I did also like pet Moose while I was on there, and she was like super relaxed, super into it. She's been taking a lot of pets. She doesn't let you like, she's very freaked out when we're like at our full height and she's just like on the ground because she's so little. But like, so you can't like bend down and pet her if you're standing up. She runs away. But if she's on her tower or if she's on like a bed, she'll let you pet her, and she really likes it, and she's super sweet, and they're so funny. So I am happy.
Have you gotten to pet Moose yet?
Moose is the one
Hank,
I haven't.
Hank. I'm sorry. I felt wrong as soon as I said it, but I couldn't recover.
Hank has let me pet him like once. I don't remember if this had already happened the last time that we talked, but he when we first started doing like actually it was like the second day that we did the introductions with the gate there. So they were like having treats on both sides of the gate, and it's actually still the only time I've heard him purr was when he was like right up next to the gate and Squeaks was right there. He's like, I like heard him purring, and then he like kind of walked away from her and went to eat his food, which was like on the other side of me, but he was like still purring, and so I like reached out to pet him, and he like totally let me. He like I've pet the fluffy tail, like I've pet the whole back half of him, which he seems to prefer, like, which is so weird. Actually, the foster told us that it's easier to pet him if you like come at him from behind, like when he's playing or something.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I was like, that can't be true. Like I didn't even try it until then because I was like, no cat likes that. Like that's like a surprise attack as far as they're concerned. But apparently he does like that better. So
I mean, cats
weirdo.
also usually don't like love other cats like he does.
yeah. He's weird. Also, his tail, I cannot emphasize enough. His cat. I cannot emphasize enough how puffy his tail is. He's so sleek on his whole rest of his body, and then his tail is just this like huge. It looks like any other long-haired cat when they're incredibly scared. But his tail is just like that. The fur on his tail is just like built different.
Wow.
So
It's built different.
Built Ford tough.
So that's the cat update. It's all been pretty good. It is a little stressful when you hear like hissing and you don't know why somewhere in the house, but it's been overall, I would say, pretty peaceful. So
Awesome. Love that.
Yeah.
Congrats on a great, I mean, that took a lot of like knowledge and skill and patience. So
Thanks.
Congrats on that work so far.
Thanks. Yeah, and it's like 3 weeks on Friday since they've come to the house, and it's only like, half a week by then that they'll have been out, but yeah, I think it's going to be good.
Great. Great.
All right, we got a couple emails.
We got one legitimate email and one spam email that Hannah would love to read us.
I would love to read you the spam email from Chala Manaj. Thanks for writing us, Chala. Hello, friend. I actually observed your works on Google. I'm also impressed and amazed to have seen your various works, too. You are doing a great job. I would like to purchase one of your pieces as a surprise to my wife. Kindly send me a PDF photo and price list of some of your artworks, which are ready/available for immediate sale within the price range of $500 to $5,000. I hope to hear a lot more about any available pieces in your inventory ready for immediate sale.
Wow.
Best regards. Yeah.
Wow. What do we have?
What?
Yeah.
This is the weirdest email I've ever read. I don't want to dwell on this too long because I know we have a long email to read also. Mm-hmm. But if this is a scam, what's the scam?
I know.
And
I know.
Also, it has the weird typos, kind of a scam email, but is from a Gmail address, not from a weird.
Yeah, and it's the name on the Gmail, matches the name of the.
Although he missed the last letter of his last name.
Yeah, but I mean, people do that.
Yeah, I don't. It seems almost real.
Yeah, but what could?
Do you feel like do you feel like it could be one of those things? It's like, I don't know, if you happen to land your target, somebody who's actually selling art, they accidentally send you too much money and you have to send something back or something like that.
Oh, maybe.
Because that's one of the
has
scams.
To be gift cards.
Yeah,
It's just such a shot in the dark. Like I mean, unless like they just maybe there's something that we have an account on where there was no thing for podcaster and we put an artist instead or something, and he was like working from that list. I don't know, but like it just seems like weird bait. But either way, we don't have any ready art for him, so we're safe. Sorry. All right. The next email is from our friend Sam, non-work Sam, TikTok Sam. And the title is "You Asked for It," more miscellaneous follow-up.
We did.
And I've skimmed it, and let me tell you, it's long, but it has some good stuff in it. Best I can tell.
When you're going through the back catalog, I mean,
Yeah.
You're going to have a lot of notes.
It's a trip down memory lane, let me just tell you. Okay. Firstly, since you specifically asked on zombies versus ghosts, definitely ghosts, hands down, not even a contest.
Hell yeah.
Ghost movies, or even someone telling an extremely obvious fake ghost story, can make me paranoid for weeks. It's a big part of why I pretty explicitly don't do horror movies, because I just can't handle it. Zombies, on the other hand, I genuinely can't recall a piece of zombie media that has scared me. What? Granted, I haven't consumed a lot of zombie content, but that's just because I find the whole concept deeply uninteresting. I think part of it is the idea of zombies, at least in the way they're most commonly portrayed, just seems so improbable and fake. Wow, Sam, we have beef right now. Ghosts, on the other hand, seem extremely plausible to me. Like, I wouldn't say I 100% definitely believe, but there's plenty of weird phenomena that we don't have good explanations for, and I'd be willing to accept ghosts as an explanation, at least until we find a better one. And look, obviously zombies are the more existential threat, and I will admit a zombie apocalypse would suck. But also, realistically, in that scenario, I'm probably not surviving long, so it would be over fast. See, that is logical, and that is where my comfort comes from as someone who is afraid of zombies.
But also, believe in yourself. You'd survive.
Thanks.
Sam, couldn't agree with you more on that. On everything you said. Moving on, nothing more to discuss.
So you agree that she would die immediately in a zombie apocalypse? So
yeah, who would want to live?
Got it.
What's there to live for?
No, so we've confirmed that Erin thinks Sam is weak. Go on.
Listen. Sam knows Sam better than I do. Who am I to undermine? Who am I to undermine Sam?
Okay. With ghosts, though, they might not even want you dead, exactly, just to torment you, which could be worse than death. Plus, it feels like a more personal horror. It's not the whole world falling apart. It's happening to you specifically, and others might not even believe you. Not to mention that there's the potential of becoming a ghost yourself, which seems awful to me. It seems so fun to me. Just being trapped on this plane, barely able to interact with anything, doesn't sound like a great existence, and frankly, I'm not sure I like the idea of any kind of afterlife. I mean, I like existing, but do I really want to do that forever?
Absolutely.
Even in the best case scenario, I don't think I do. I think it sounds fun to be a ghost. I said it, and I'm not sorry.
I want there to be absolutely nothing when I die. I want there to be a deep, beautiful nothingness.
Wow,
that's actually very pretty. Pretty?
Yeah.
I'm never going to die, so I don't even need to think about it.
Does not apply. Moving on.
All right. So there's a lot of things that I could say about this paragraph. And look, there's a lot of great points here and a lot of things I agree with and a lot of things I don't. I just, I need to keep moving because anything that I'm going to say about zombies has already been said.
We've already covered
Sam's
it.
heard it more recently than me. So, also on the subject of scary things, clowns versus dolls. It's dolls. I was always of the opinion that the reason the scary clown trope worked was because it was taking something fun and innocent and twisting it into something dark, which tells you right there that I don't inherently find clowns scary. I suppose, to be fair, I don't inherently find the concept of dolls scary, but there are some dolls that I find their simple existence horrifying. Like, even with nothing supernatural, just perfectly normal, innocent, inanimate objects, they can still creep me the hell out. I think it's just an uncanny valley thing where they can look almost real but not quite, and it's just deeply unsettling. So they win because they're scary without doing anything, where a clown has to actually do something scary.
I agree with everything you said about dolls being scary, but to me
too.
What you described about dolls is basically the same for clowns. Where like they're also just kind of have that inherent scariness to me. But that's a fear I've had my whole life, so who knows?
I don't remember where I fell on this discussion originally, which goes to show that I'm not very passionate.
Did we talk about this before?
Yeah, I think we did. We at least mentioned it in passing. Third thing, D&D podcast. I want to recommend Sneak Attack because it's my favorite and not nearly enough people know about it. They sadly decided to end the pod during the pandemic because they didn't want to record remotely. Plus, 2 of the players are married and had just had their first kid, which would have made finding larger blocks of time to record extra hard. Season 1 is a completed story. It takes a little while to really get going, but I find that that's the case with most D&D podcasts, and it's so worth it once you really get into the story. Season 2 was a new story, which will never be finished, but it had some great moments, so I'd still recommend it if you won't be overly bothered by the lack of a conclusion. Well, that's sad.
Wow. Have you heard of that, Ben or Hannah?
No.
Sneak Attack.
And I'm gonna remember it because I agree with you about D&D podcasts, and that's like the toughest hurdle I think is getting into like it getting rolling, but they're usually worth it.
Rolling, no pun
Rolling.
intended.
Rolling. Nice. Okay. All right. Also on that note, I'd like to share one of my favorite moments from my current D&D campaign. Early in the campaign, our party had found a large wooden ring with some abyssal writing on it. We eventually learned the word Pull Shiva, and if you stick your hand through the ring and say that word, you will pull out a chicken. Our DM has us roll a d20 every time we do this, but regardless of the roll, it's always a chicken, so we're not sure what the point of this object is, but hey, free chickens. Later in our adventure, there's a storm coming, so we decide to take shelter in a cave we spot up ahead. Shortly after entering the cave, we see some eyes peering at us through a big pile of leaves, and then out pops a Manticore pup, and we realize we need to leave now. But of course, before we can, the mother returns and accuses us of trying to harm her children. Manticores canonically can speak Common? I didn't know that.
Wow.
It's like, hold on. Let me Google what a Manticore looks like, because I actually don't know.
It's something with a scorpion's tail and a lion's.
Oh,
something
wow.
over there.
And like kind of a human head sort of
Yeah,
deal.
like a human-y face.
Ooh, scary.
And also
Yeah,
like
that's
bat
not
wings,
great.
I think.
Yeah, it looks, well, from this one picture. A Persian legendary creature, similar to the Egyptian Sphinx, except it definitely has a the tail thing. Scorpion tail. Thank you. Lost that word for a second. Okay. Manticore. Gotta find my spot. We attempted to reason, say we just wanted refuge from the storm and meant no harm, but we'll just leave. The Manticore buys this, but she says she needs to feed her baby, so she's going to kill us anyway. And we're like, wait, we have something for this, and pull out the chicken ring. And of course, this is the moment that we roll a 1, and instead of a chicken, we pull out a demon. So now we have to fight both of them. We managed to take them out, and while we had intended to do non-lethal to the Manticore, I was using a bow, and you can't do non-lethal with a ranged weapon. Also didn't know that. So now we're just in a cave with 4 Manticore pups and their dead mom, and feeling guilty, I attempt animal handling to console them. I roll a natural 20. I'm their new mother now. I make a deal with the DM. If I multi-class as a ranger, he'll let me keep one as my beast companion. Just abandoning the other ones. When I reach the appropriate level, DM ages up the Manticore to full grown, so now I have a flying mount. Townsfolk no longer like me, but worth it.
Okay, are you recording your campaign? Because I would listen to this.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Wow, that's so good.
That's really great. Ugh.
I'm their new mother now.
All right, couple more things here. Next thing, hypotheticals. What I actually want to talk about here is a tangent, but I may as well respond to the question I have the most interesting answer for, the one about the wizard that makes you more attractive. What's the rest of the question?
I found it. You meet a wizard in downtown Chicago. The wizard tells you he can make you more attractive if you pay him money. When you ask him how this process works, the wizard points to a random person in the street. You look at this random stranger. The wizard says, I will now make him $1 more attractive. He waves his magic wand. Ostensibly, this person has not changed at all. As far as you can tell, nothing is different. But somehow, this person is suddenly a little more appealing. The tangible difference is invisible to the naked eye, but you can't deny that this person is vaguely sexier. The wizard has a weird rule, though. You can only pay him once. You can't keep giving him money until you're satisfied. You can only pay him one lump sum up front. How much cash do you give the wizard?
Huh. I don't remember this question at all. I don't remember what we answered.
I vaguely do.
I feel like I probably said like $2 or something.
Well, like if it's noticeable with $1, I feel like I wouldn't spend a ton of money on it because there is a point at which you're like too attractive and I really think there is like where people won't leave you alone. Like you're
I think there is a gift to being a certain type of attractive to like the people that you want to find you attractive and just like stop there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
All right. So.
Just so incredibly attractive. You know?
Okay, so now we know what the question is. First, some important caveats. The question specifically mentions making you sexier, but does he also affect your general aesthetic attractiveness, or is this just explicitly about how hot people think you are? The distinction is extremely important because my second question is if paying him makes you more attractive, can I take money from the wizard to make me less attractive? Look, I'm asexual, and frankly, if no one ever finds me sexy again, that's a win in my book. So if we're talking about strictly dollar amount equals change in sexiness, then how much money does this wizard have? Now, if it does reduce the other types of attraction, then I think I still try talking him into giving me $5. I don't want to accidentally turn into some repulsive monster, but $5 probably won't do much harm. Still reduces the chance of unwanted advances. Plus, I get $5.
I think you try and pitch it like you're being cursed or something, like making a deal with the devil, where it's like, make me hideous for $10,000.
Don't let on that that's something that you want.
Right. Don't. Yeah, exactly. Don't imply something you want.
Yep.
But why would the wizard want that? Like he loses money, and then what does he gain?
Because he's actually the devil.
Oh, okay, cool. Like all magic users.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Harry Potter. The rest.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why I burned my copies.
Yeah. Yeah. And my Bible too, because there was like some stuff that seemed like magic in there. So I thought better safe than sorry. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Now, loaves and fishes and stuff is just not natural. So now on to my tangent. I want to recommend the British panel show Hypothetical. They pose two teams of comedians, ridiculous hypothetical scenarios that they have to try to solve and then score them on that. It's silly and fun and can generate some interesting conversation. Now, I'll be honest, I don't think you can stream it in the US, but you can use a VPN to pretend you're in the UK and watch it for free on uktvplay.com. That also seems a little bit too much like magic. I'm going to have to say no to that. No, you have to make an account, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about UK postcodes, so I'm going to skip this. This is how I used to watch Taskmaster before the luxury of watching on YouTube was an option. Now you can watch surprisingly large amount of British TV this way between that website and all4.com. Oh, I definitely used to use all4.com. I feel like I watched like all of British Big Brother during a depressive spell in college on all4.com.
Is that where you used to watch Nevermind the Buzzcocks? Because you also watched that.
Maybe. Yeah, could be. Definitely could be. However, if you don't have a VPN and have no interest in getting one, I do have another recommendation that is available on YouTube, though this one has nothing to do with hypotheticals. You should look up both Citation Needed and Two of These People Are Lying. Why do I know? Oh, Citation Needed is also the name of a podcast I listen to. Okay, Citation Needed and Two of These People Are Lying. Both are the same people, just different show format. Citation Needed is one person generates a random Wikipedia article and gives the others the title. Then they try to guess what the article is about and also make jokes. And eventually hints and leading questions are used to get through more of the article, unless they knew what it was right from the start, which did happen a few times. They're very entertaining and also a great way to learn unusual facts. All the episodes are pretty good, but some of my favorites are Jack Churchill, Victor Lustig, Juan Pujol Garcia, and Julie. I've heard this name before, but I can't. Daubigny, maybe. Yeah. 2 of these people are lying is a similar format, but sort of reversed. The other 3 people look at a random article and write down the name on a strip of paper. A random one is chosen, and now they must each try to convince Tom the article was theirs, meaning 2 of them are fully improvising.
Oh, that's fun.
Again, all of these are great, but there are far fewer, and since they're messing with Tom escalates throughout the episodes, I recommend starting with the first one. That's
Cool.
great.
Those both sound interesting.
Yeah, fun story, and I think you guys might know this, but I'm not sure. When Ian and I first met, it was on OkCupid, and the first thing that he wrote to me was, and he's the one who reached out first, was, I feel like you and I should be binging British television shows together, because we both had some on our profiles.
Nice.
Yeah. And then he said, not that I wouldn't be open to other potentialities. And then I thought it was pretty cool that he used the word potentialities like correctly.
Wow.
So that's why I wrote him back. But I love British reality shows. I mean, also reality shows, but panel shows. I think they're really fun. Okay. Other things. Shishito peppers. Tried them. They're good. Not much more to say on that.
Boom. Period.
Period. They are good. Sugar. Not just there to make it sweet. Episode 183, sugar's just there to make it sweet. This actually was almost my first email to you, but I chickened out. Anyway, I learned this many years ago after a misguided attempt to make a very low sugar ice cream. The result was very icy and hard. Turns out sugar is important for the structure of your ice cream. Too little and it's icy, too much and it may never fully freeze. It's because sugar lowers the freezing point of the ice cream base. Different sugars also affect the freezing of your ice cream differently. Honey, for example, will produce a softer ice cream than the same amount of white sugar would.
Makes sense, I guess.
The more you know.
Sugar lowers the freezing point?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Too much and it may never fully... oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. You know, they talk about that in the Ben and Jerry's ice cream book a little bit. And, like, when talking about different potential sweeteners, you have to, like, change the amounts of each of them to keep the ice cream structured properly. So, and that's funny that I read that before the episode that she was talking about, because that was up 183 when I think I had just gotten an ice cream maker, or Erin had. Yes, I had just gotten one after you got one. You had,
okay.
Was this episode. So I had definitely read that before, but I didn't think about it at all. Actually, I don't know if it's particularly, I think maybe I thought the thing in the Ben & Jerry's book was just about keeping the sweetness about the same. I don't think I knew that it had anything to do with the structure of the ice cream, now that I think about it.
Gotcha.
I need to... Ian, are you eating fruit snacks again?
I'm just fascinated with what possible emergency Hannah might have based on his answer.
Is he not allowed to eat fruit snacks?
No, I was just hearing a loud crinkling noise, so I'm trying to figure out if it's a cat or not. And the last time...
Are you eating fruit snacks again?
You know you can't have those. They're too much sugar.
Ian, what is it? Oh, he's having an ice cream bar.
Oh, man.
Sorry.
As previously discussed, we're all allowed a sweet treat after dinner.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. You're right.
Man, I haven't made ice cream in a minute.
Me too. It's cold. Why would I want ice cream? You know what I mean?
No, that's bullshit.
You're bullshit. Hey, come on. You're bullshit.
You know when people are like, oh, hey, Hank. Hi. You know, people are like, why do people in cold climates drink iced coffee, right? But it's like, by the time that...
That's ridiculous.
Iced coffee in like a winter's day is warmer than the outside a lot of the time. So it doesn't matter.
And it's like a different mood. It is not necessarily based on temperature. Anyway, please finish this email.
It's over. That's it.
No, you didn't read the closing.
Okay.
Sam says, okay, I think that's everything. Bye, Sam.
Thanks, Sam.
You were so close. You just didn't finish the email.
Let me tell you what happened in my head during that last couple minutes. Okay. I had something that kept coming to the top of my head, like 2 or 3 separate times when I was reading that email. I was like, oh, I got to say this thing after. And by the time I was about to finish the email, I had no clue what it was, and I still don't. And then I started hearing that crinkling, and it was I got very overstimulated.
Well, thank you, Sam, for trudging through the back catalog and for all your thoughts. That was very enjoyable.
Delightful.
I also had a thing that I was reminded of in that email when we mentioned Harry Potter. I want to read a funny tweet to you.
Okay.
Great.
Daniel Radcliffe cast as Weird Al Yankovic in a new biopic. Al Yankovic says, "I have no doubt whatsoever that this is the role future generations will remember him for."
Is all that true?
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
from
cool.
Entertainment Tonight Canada's Twitter account.
Wow.
So, yes, I think so.
If I trust Entertainment Tonight Canada
Yeah.
as much as I trust my own mother, which is implicitly.
I see Kylie's playing Death's Door back there.
That's true.
We talked about Death's Door in episode 189. I got a Big Bird update.
Did you ever finish it?
No, I didn't.
Me neither.
Wow.
And I tell you what, I haven't really felt like, oh man, I really need to get back to that.
Yeah, I really
Much.
was enjoying it, and then it just kind of fell off hard, just real hard.
So
But-
For me, it was the
happens.
Frog Boss, Frog King or whatever.
I just remembered what it was that I was going to say. There's a viral TikTok right now where a girl is saying, I'm not a person, I actually don't know their gender, is saying, I'm not into gatekeeping, but I am into reverse gatekeeping, which is where anything I like, I talk about it incessantly to anyone who will listen, hoping that they'll also get into it. And I was just like, that's our podcast. Like, I almost like commented on it, like, you should listen to this, but I did.
Oh, you should have.
I should have, but I didn't. So, yeah, that's it. We're a reverse
we have been
gatekeeping
recording
podcast.
for nearly an hour, so we should pop in.
Okay, well, actually, this is a great opportunity for me to just go ahead and skip my obsession because it was going to be really reaching. And this email is a better obsession than that would have been. So I will cede my time over to the wonderful Long Sam email, and we can just pop
Great.
right into Erin.
Yeah, that was Sam having a segment of being obsessed with our podcast, I think. Not to
Yeah,
put,
thanks, Sam.
yeah, not to put words in your mouth, Sam, but, you know, congrats on being a co-host this week.
Yeah, I really appreciate the trip down memory lane, like, truly. Like, a lot of that stuff I had forgotten existed, like hypotheticals.
Yep.
Don't know where it is. Forgot it existed. But
Well, I have an obsession this week, and it is a Netflix show that just came out with season 2. It's Cheer.
Cheer. Okay, I've seen that it is trending. I don't even know what it is.
I love Cheers. Kelsey Grammer,
Not
Dave, what's his name? All the rest?
It's the singular. It's the
Ted
spin-off.
Danson?
It's the spin-off.
Yeah.
No, the spin-off is Frasier.
No, they did
Oh.
a reverse aliens. And,
Yeah.
Or, no. Regular type
Oh.
aliens. Yeah.
Sorry, I was just agreeing with you. I didn't know your reference, but Cheer is a show on Netflix, and it's about cheerleaders, specifically from one school, Navarro College, collegiate cheerleaders
Is it a
in
reality show?
Texas. It's a reality show,
Oh.
and it's a docu series. I would
yeah.
not call it a reality show. I would call it a docu series. So we had watched season 1 together. It's really interesting. So especially Hannah is like a fan of Bring It On, which I think I'm assuming of you. Yeah, we
You're
were.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah. I think there's just a truth I know about you because
Yeah.
Bring It On rules. So do we
Because we
watch
did
it
an
together?
episode
Is
about Bring It On, Erin.
Yeah, that's
between
right.
159 and 160.
Yeah.
It was a pilot episode of Is It?
Is it? Is it?
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Bring
So-
It On.
Was it? Did we determine it was good?
Mostly
Probably not.
Okay, wait.
I think it gets like full nostalgia points and not much else.
Yeah, like, and it was like so
It's kind of
2000.
homophobic. Yeah.
So 2002, like,
Yeah.
just, or 2001, 2000,
Yeah.
just 2000. Just so deeply of its time. But that was fun,
Yeah.
too. But
Yeah.
still love it.
So Cheer is nothing like that, but Cheer is like
Well, Cheers is
collegiate.
about a bar.
Do you want to
stop.
keep it up
I'll
for
stop.
another whole
I'm
hour?
sorry. I'll stop.
So Cheer Raw singular, the Netflix docuseries
Oh,
is
She-Ra?
about
I love that show.
my fucking
Fucking God.
That was good. Cheer
Yeah.
is about collegiate cheerleading, which is like so intensely athletic and impressive. I mean, it's just, you might think of like, oh yeah, cheerleaders like rah rah rah, but this is like some of the most like hardcore athletics that you might ever see. Really impressive stuff. And so it follows this team Navarro, this college Navarro in Texas, who have won a ton of the national. So this is like the highest you can go in cheerleading is this like college competition that happens in Daytona every year. And so it kind of follows this team as the team prepares for this competition. And this team has won like 13 times, right? Like has won the national championship.
Holy crap.
And this one coach specifically has led this team to victory. And so it kind of like, so you kind of like learn about the cheerleaders, and you learn about her, and you learn about like what it takes to like get on this team, and like what it takes to do these routines and to train your body, and like everything your body goes through and all the drama. So you kind of learn about like the cheerleading world and like all this stuff. So that's really cool. And so that's kind of like season 1. And then the show took off. I mean, the show like got intensely popular. So season 2 is really interesting because season 2 returns to Navarro, where you're seeing the same familiar faces. But we're also learning, we're spending almost equal time with their rivals, which are about 45 minutes away, called Trinity Valley Community College. So we're getting that dynamic of like we're getting just as intimately familiar with like these teams coming like in first and second place like every year, right? Like this is like tenths of points apart from each other. So we're learning more intimately. Like we're almost like spending half our time with them. So we're suddenly becoming torn. You know, we're falling in love with like those cheerleaders and learning about them and learning all their stories. But another really interesting aspect of season 2, which makes it compelling, there's several of them, is that because season 1 was so popular, season 2 really is dealing with like the fallout of that, of like the way that has kind of shook up these cheerleaders' lives, like the sudden fame, like the sudden intense fame. And then there's like some other stuff at play. And then also you're like watching them prepare for Daytona in like fucking January, February of 2020. And so you have like all of these things. And also, I don't think this is a spoiler, I mean, it's real life. One of your favorite people that you'll meet in season 1 ended up, it was discovered that he was like a serial like child abuser. And so,
Holy
and you
shit.
just like wouldn't see it coming. And so like, you know, the first episode of season 1 hits you with that if you hadn't already been following the news. But they don't know that yet. So you're seeing him in practice and you're seeing that. Wow. So you know, like you're going into this and you're learning about how their lives have been like rocked by the popularity of the show that they're now filming. And you know that hanging over their head is coronavirus is about to hit and the allegations, you know, are about to come out about this guy.
Wow.
So anyway, it's just incredibly compelling for like all of those fucking reasons. Season 2 I would definitely like approach with a, you know, sensitivity warning, like they do a good job of like prefacing the episodes because they actually like speak. They like have the victims like in the docuseries, and they devote an entire episode to them and, you know, their story.
Good.
So it's just like a great show. We're not done season 2, but we're almost there.
Wow, I'm gonna watch that for sure.
Hopefully I didn't give too much away, but it's like real life, so I don't know where the line is, right?
Yeah, no. Shoot. I had a follow-up question, and then both of the cats walked in here, and I got real distracted. Sorry. But no, that sounds, I know what I was going to say. I actually think that's like maybe the most fascinating thing for me right now when I find a show that was being filmed in early 2020, I watch the fuck out of it. Like a docuseries or even a reality show, whatever. You know, I think it's really interesting, like to watch that moment. And like I think for a long for like probably the first like year of the pandemic, it was like the last thing I wanted to watch. But now that with a little distance on it, even though things have kind of not gotten better really, like I don't know, it's just kind of fascinating to see how that hit different people. Like there were like the last season of 90 Day Fiancé was really interesting to me for that very reason, because they were filming it all around that time.
Yeah. It's really sad. It's really sad because it's like, you remember how you felt. Like, you remember, like, just not even considering the, like, it becoming what it was. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, they're, like, watching the news, and they're like, I'm gonna let a virus stop me. And you're like, oh, honey. Yeah. Oh, honey. Yeah. Or also, like, you know, they're flashing back to the news. It was, like, 30 people dead of the coronavirus, and that's just like just a ridiculous number compared to what it is now. So yeah,
I don't know why I would want to watch that, but I do. So like, that particular type of media.
I don't share that.
That's understandable. I respect that opinion also.
It almost feels like you know, when you go through something hard and you're watching somebody about to do it, and you're like, have fun with that. Or like you beat a hard boss in a video game, and somebody's like, oh yeah, I just got to this, and you're like, okay, let me know how that goes, you know.
Yeah.
Except we're like still in that boss fight for 2 years.
But I think actually something that maybe is a little cathartic about it is that things were harder right at the beginning because everything was shut down. And it was like harder, and not like, I remember having a thought, I don't want to make this a pandemic segment really, but like I remember having a thought at the beginning of the pandemic of like, this is so fun, but like, you know, it's gonna be like a year later, and we're still gonna be in this house, and it's gonna and we're gonna be looking back on this like these were the good old days, and that kind of did come to pass. But then also like things, we are in a different place. Like I think it's soothing to look back on it and see that like we are, it's not an entirely better place, but we are in a different place, like as kind of a like a world community than we were then, you know? So that's like, at least things are changing like one way or another, you know?
That's true.
So I don't know, but that sounds really good. I'm going to watch that.
It's good. Check out Cheer. Check out fucking Cheer. That's all I got.
Sweet. Thanks, Erin.
Cool.
Yes.
Ben, what's your obsession, brother? Actual brother?
My obsession.
Yeah, brother.
I don't have like a super strong obsession this week, but it's just like been a thing I've been enjoying the past couple of nights to do with my last couple of hours before bed, which is watching Pokemon speedruns and playing Sudoku.
Oh,
That's nice.
Great.
In particular, I got two monitors. I play Sudoku on one. I have a Pokemon speedrun up on the other, and I just vibe out for the night. But in particular, I've been enjoying Pokemon Sword and Shield speedruns, which is the newest generation, because the routes they use are really neat. Like the way that a lot of early Pokemon speedruns go is, like, for example, I've run Pokemon Red and Pokemon Sapphire before. In Pokemon Red, you get a starter. What starter do you even pick? It doesn't really matter, so I don't remember. I think you pick Squirtle, but you almost immediately switch to Nidoran, which then becomes Nidoking, and you use that for the whole game. So usually there's like a main or like a couple of like maybe there's usually like one main, and then maybe you get like a legendary towards the end of the game. That's the case for Sapphire. You have you get a Mudkip, becomes a Swampert, use that for the whole game until you catch Kyogre, and use that for basically the last gym in the Elite Four. But in a lot of the newer generations, for various reasons, they do a lot of main switching, which I think is so cool for speedruns for some reason. Like in Gen 6, which is X and Y, you switch from your starter to an in-game traded Farfetch'd, which is like normally not a great Pokemon, but it just like happens to do this one part of the game pretty well. And also like in later generations, RNG manipulation is not possible in the way it was in earlier generations. So, but a lot of the in-game traded Pokemon have like fixed stats. And so you can route around them really easily because it's very consistent. So like, I think in X and Y, you main switch 3 times because you switch from your starter to Farfetch to then Halucha to then Lucario. And I think you use that for the rest of the game. But it's like, I don't know. I just feel like routing that must be so interesting. And Sword and Shield, you also, depending on the game, depending on which one you play, the fastest route involves main switching, and like takes advantage of some really interesting like quality of life mechanics that they added for casual players in the game. One of them being like, so some Pokemon evolve with legendaries with evolutionary stones. Like one example that's relevant for what I'm going to talk about is Growlithe evolves into Arcanine when you give it a Firestone. And typically those Pokemon like don't learn any new moves by leveling up anymore. After they evolve, they like only learn moves when they're the unevolved Pokemon, and then you're just stuck with what you get, or you can like teach it other moves with TMs and stuff. But Sword and Shield introduced this thing where if you go to a move relearner, which normally just like teaches moves that your Pokemon maybe forgot in previous levels, reteaches them, with a Pokemon like Arcanine that evolves with a stone, you get access to like all of the moves that the form before could have learned, regardless of the level that you are when you evolve.
Damn.
So the speedrun takes advantage of that by getting a Growlithe and evolving it to an Arcanine really early, and then having like a fully evolved Pokemon with a bunch of really good moves at like level 10. But what's even cooler about that is that that's not good enough for the whole game, so they have to main switch again later on. And there's like another route that looks really interesting to me, which uses an in-game traded Pokemon called Candy Floss. So it's called the Candy Floss route, which is, and it does a similar thing. Like it catches a Vulpix, evolves it really early, teaches a bunch of really good moves, uses that for the start of the game until you get Candy Floss, switches to Candy Floss, evolves with a stone, teaches a bunch of really good moves, and then use that for basically the whole rest of the game. And it's like it's a Whimsicott is what Candy Floss is, which is this like
Thank you.
grass fairy type cotton looking thing that is not generally that good. But like it just happens to work out that like its type and the moves it learns work really well for what you need to do in the rest of the game. Which is, I love when speedruns work out like that, where just like the thing you get works out well.
Yeah, especially if it's like a shitty one. Typically.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, like Farfetch'd is so funny that you actually, and it's called Quacklin. I didn't mention that.
What's that? Did you say Windicott or Whimsicott?
Whimsicott.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Windicott's like an author.
No, Whimsicott.
Got it.
And it's like, and the funniest part about the Candy Floss route is that
I'm sorry, he's an English pediatrician. I apologize.
Sorry, pardon. It started, my apologies to the chef and to the pediatrician. It started as kind of like a meme route. Like some people just like to, for fun, route alternate mains for a game, even if they know it's slower, just because it's kind of fun. And this Candy Floss like started as that, but it turns out it's like way safer and way more consistent, and almost like the recommended route for beginners now. And like I think the 4th place time on the leaderboard is a Candy Floss run. So it's like competitive with the fastest route in the game, which I think is so cool. Yeah, so that's just been I've been thinking about getting into the doing that speed run, but it's long. It's like the fastest runs are like 4 hours.
You can make it shorter, Ben. That's the point.
I mean, maybe by a few minutes, but not by a whole lot, unless I find something really fast.
Okay, now
skip or something.
I want to talk about the other part of this, which is the Sudoku. You play on the computer?
Yeah.
Do you know what I like? A book.
Sudoku?
Yeah, in a book. Have you ever done that?
I like to read. I don't like to play them. I like to read them. I like to read
of course I've
what
done
others
that.
have done.
I like it because you can write yourself little affirmations afterwards when you're done.
Aww.
You can be like, good
Wow.
job. Or
That's so nice.
like, good,
Ben,
nice
do you do
save.
that?
Ben, do you do that?
No, I can't.
Yeah, so you
I
should
don't
get
do
a
that all the time.
Sudoku book, and then you could do that.
By
Okay,
the way,
but then you
apologies.
run out of puzzles.
Apologies. Molly's like building a bookshelf or something,
I can't hear
and I'm definitely hearing it. Oh,
Okay.
did you hear that?
No.
Mm-mm.
But
Well, just stop. You'll hear it.
maybe the listener will. So thanks for letting us
The
know.
listener, aka Molly, will.
And Sam.
I'm not hearing
I don't
it.
hear it.
It's showing up on my Audrios.
Okay. Well, what do we want to call this? Pokemon speedruns and
Sudoku.
what? I'm sorry, Ben, because this is the most basic part of what you said. But which Pokemon game have you been watching?
Silver Spoon.
Sword and Shield, but I mean, I also have recently watched a run of X and Y and a run of Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. So I've watched several, but mostly Sword and Shield.
Cool. Okay. So we should do homework. And for my homework, because I didn't have, I mean, obviously my homework is send us emails, send us more emails, like keep reaching out. But also, for my homework segment, I'm going to do a little bonus cat story that I just remembered from today.
Excellent.
Real quick. So earlier today, I think that the food that we've been giving them, it's not kitten food, the wet food, and I think it's this particular flavor.
Think it's not kitten food?
Not agreeing with them. What?
I'm so sorry. I interjected with a not funny joke. You said I think it's not kitten food.
I know it's not kitten food. The wet food we've been giving them. And so they both threw up today, but here's the funny thing. Moose threw up first, and then I watched Hank eat like half of her puke. And then later Hank puked. So if you think about it, Hank puked her puke. You what?
I'm not 100% in agreement on like the funny.
Yeah.
I was like advertised.
I think that I have to. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little disappointed.
You have kittens. You have two kittens, and they're probably tearing it up, doing a ton of fun, funny stuff, sweet, cute, and we get the twice baked puke story.
All right, here's a cute one. Earlier today,
Okay.
I wasn't sure
I don't trust your
where.
judgment anymore.
What?
I don't really trust your judgment anymore.
This is cute. Earlier today, I wasn't
Okay.
sure where either of them were, and I was laying on
Okay.
my bed, and then all of a sudden I heard purring under my bed, and I immediately knew that they were both under there because Moose purrs instantly as soon as she's within like a few inches of Hank, and so I was like,
That's
oh,
so
they're both under
fucking
there.
cute.
Yeah.
That is cute.
All right.
You
Okay.
delivered.
Thank you. All right. We
All
got
right,
it on
we
the
trust you
layup.
on cute stories, but funny stories are still on probation.
Okay, my Twitter is Anthropology. That's also my Instagram. Yeah,
Is it?
yeah. And I'm on TikTok at Hannah and her cats. Haven't been getting a ton of videos of them since they've been out, but if you follow me, I'm sure you'll get cat videos ASAP. And that's all my homework. So, Erin, what's yours?
Yeah, my homework is to watch Cheer on Netflix. It's great. My Venmo is Earn Burn, and you can pay me any amount of money, and I'll make you more attractive or less attractive, whatever you want. That's at Earn Burn on Venmo.
Wow.
Just let me know what you want in the little message, and I'll make it happen.
Ben, what's your homework?
My homework is to watch Cheers on Netflix.
Is that on Netflix?
I don't know. I was trying to check as you were talking because I had that bit, but hold on. Everyone shut up.
I don't think it is.
It turns out I was logged into Netflix on this computer.
Wow.
I just don't
It's
think
not.
it is.
It's on
not.
Hulu, I think.
It's probably on. It's on. I was gonna guess Peacock because it was an NBC show, or was it not? I don't fucking know.
It's on Hulu. So.
Okay, watch Cheers on Hulu. What the fuck did I? Oh yeah. Also watch Pokemon Sword and Shield. Excuse me. Gosh. Speedruns. Maybe me doing them. Who knows? I don't know if I can commit to a run that long though.
Okay,
Like
but
it's cool.
if you
but
follow
we'll
him on
see.
Twitch, Disco Greg, maybe you'll find out.
Yeah. And my Twitter, Nicely Proved Ben.
Yeah. Where do you play Sudoku online?
Sudoku.com.
Cool. What? All right. If
Can you imagine?
if you want to call us and leave us a voicemail or text us, you can do all of that at our phone number, 774-326-0420.
Blaze
Blaze
it.
it. Plays it.
Big thank you to Sam for being our surprise first co-host of the episode. Thanks for that. And if you want to find us on Twitter, we're WayTooBroadPod. Instagram at WayTooBroad. Our email is waytoobroad@gmail.com. If you want to send us a note, let us know what you think about Ghosts versus Zombies. And if you missed any of that, it's all on our website at waytoobroad.com. Or waytoobod.com, or nameyourselfjame.com for anything you want, earnben.com for anything you need, maxfun.org for sweet pupper, God.
Yeah, pupper. Roll with it.
On a boat, aemyn.bandcamp.com for great music. And thanks to Eamon for writing our intro and outro music. We love it so much. And that's it. So the podcast candle was never lit, but it is still extinguished.
It is technically can't be. It was extinguished from the last time. It was in a state of extinguishment.
Yeah, exactly.
With no details on when that happened.
Yeah, yep. I was gonna try to play it off, but I couldn't.
It's way too broad. What I'm trying to say, but I write it down and let it go. It's hard to know all the words I need to explain my heart.
Hello and welcome back to Post Show Book Club with Hannah. I'm Hannah and this is the Post Show Book Club. Finally, we haven't had one of these since right after Christmas was the last time I did this. So I'm very excited to be back. For anybody who is not familiar with this segment, we are reading and discussing Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine. I am reading it a chapter or two at a time. I'm going to do 2 this week because I really like the next 2 chapters and because it's been so long, I thought I'd give everyone a little treat. And I'll be also like adding commentary as I'm reading. And just as like a reminder, I'm not a professional audiobook reader of any kind. And my setup is not, good like that. So there's going to be noises, like page turning noises. There's going to be, people have described it more as like a bedtime story than an audiobook. So that's the vibe. I'll try to distinguish for you when I'm speaking for myself and when I'm reading from the book. So yeah, let's get into it. So we are reading chapters 6 and 7 this week. As a reminder, since it's been a few weeks, the last time that we saw Ella, she had just been told by her father that he was sending her to boarding school with Hattie and Olive, Dame Olga's daughters, who was, spoilers, going to be her evil stepmother. But she hadn't left yet, and she had just been given a couple of gifts by her cook, who's also her fairy godmother, a magical book of some kind, a book of fairy tales, and her mother's necklace. So that's where we are. And then she went to sleep. So we're starting from there. The next morning, I woke with my fingers curled around Mother's necklace. The clock in King Gerald's palace was just striking 6. Perfect. I wanted to rise early and spend the day saying goodbye to the places I loved best. I put my gown over the necklace and crept down to the pantry, where I found a tray of freshly baked scones. They were hot, so I tossed 2 in the air and caught them in my skirt, pulling it out like a basket. Then, looking down at my breakfast, I ran to the front of the house and right into Father. He was in the entranceway, waiting for Nathan to bring the carriage around. I don't have time for you now, Eleanor. Run off and bang into somebody else. And tell Mandy I'll be back with the bailiff. We'll need lunch. As instructed, I ran off. Aside from its dangerous aspects, the curse often made a fool of me and was partly the reason I seemed so clumsy. Now I had to bang into someone. Oh yeah, and in case anyone also forgot that, Ella has a curse on her, which makes her have to obey any direct orders. It's already been important. It's gonna continue to be. And her dad's a total asshole. And her mom's dead. Bertha was carrying wet laundry. When I bumped into her, she dropped her basket. My gowns and stockings and undergarments tumbled onto the tiles. I helped her pick them up, but she was going to have to wash everything over again. Little mistress, it's hard enough getting your things ready so quick without having to do it twice, she scolded. After I apologized, and after I delivered Father's message to Mandy, and after she made me sit down and eat breakfast on a plate, I started for the royal menagerie just outside the walls of the king's palace. My favorite exhibits were the talking birds and the exotic animals. Except for the Hydra inner swamp and the baby dragon, the exotics, the unicorn, the herd of centaurs, and the griffin family lived on an island meadow surrounded by an extension of the castle moat. The dragon was kept in an iron cage. He was beautiful in his tiny ferocity and seemed happiest when flaming, his ruby eyes gleaming evilly. I bought a morsel of yellow cheese from the stand next to the cage and toasted it in the fire, which was a tricky business, getting close enough for cooking, but not so close that the dragon got the treat. I wondered what King Gerald planned to do with him when he grew up. I wondered also whether I would be home to learn his fate. Beyond the dragon, a centaur stood near the moat, gazing at me. Did centaurs like cheese? I walked toward him quietly, hoping he wouldn't gallop off. Here, a voice said. I turned. It was Prince Charmant, offering me an apple. Thank you. Holding out my hand, I edged closer to the moat. The centaur's nostrils flared, and he trotted towards me. I tossed the apple. 2 other centaurs galloped over, but mine caught the treat and started eating, crunching loudly. I always expect them to thank me or say, "How dare you stare?" I said. They're not smart enough to talk. See how blank their eyes are? He pointed, teaching me. I knew all that. Perhaps it was a princely duty to explain matters to one's subjects. If they had words, I said, they wouldn't be able to think of anything to say. A surprised silence followed, then Char laughed. That's funny. You're funny. As the Lady Eleanor was. He looked stricken. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to remind you. I think of her often, I said. Most of the time. We walked along the edge of the moat. Would you like an apple too? He held out another one. I wanted to make him laugh again. I pawed at the ground with my right foot and tossed my head as though I had a mane. Opening my eyes as wide as they'd go, I stared stupidly at Char and took the apple. He did laugh. Then he made an announcement. I like you. I'm quite taken with you. He took a third apple for himself out of the pocket of his cape. This guy has a lot of apples. I liked him too. He wasn't haughty or disdainful or stuffy as High Chancellor Thomas was. All the carrions bowed when we passed, and the visiting elves and gnomes did too. I didn't know how to respond, but Char raised his arm each time, bent at the elbow in the customary royal salute. It was habit, as natural to him as teaching. I decided on a deep nod. Curtsies often tipped me over. We came to the parrot cages, my other favorite place. The birds spoke all the languages of the earth, human foreign tongues and the exotic tongues of Gnomic, Elfian, Ogrese, and Abdegi, the language of the giants. I loved to imitate them, even though I didn't know what they were saying. Simon, their keeper, was my friend. When he saw Char, he bowed low. Then he returned to feeding an orange bird. This one's new, he said. Speaks Gnomic and doesn't shut up. Oh. And then there is... this happens a few times in this book. They spell out, like, languages that don't exist. Phrases in languages that don't exist. So I'm going to do my best. Gnomic. Futur eftug brze irth yimadbuk eftug brze, the parrot said. And then she repeats it. I'm not going to try that again because she does a good job and I certainly wouldn't. So she repeats it exactly. You speak Gnomic, Char said. I like to make the sounds. I only know what a few words mean. She does it just right, doesn't she, Your Highness? Futur ever brze. Char gave up. It sounded better when you did it. And then the parrot says some other gnomic words. Do you know what he said? I asked Simon, who was able to translate occasionally. Simon shook his head. Do you know, sir? No, it sounds like gargling. Other visitors claimed Simon's attention. Excuse me, he said. Char watched while I said farewell to each bird. Ikwo pwach brze uf dehi. That was gnomic for until we dig again. Athun sing ogres for much eating. Ai, oh, that's a howl. Beck, au, abdegi for I miss you already. Por ol peswado, Elfian for walk in the shade. I memorized the sight of the birds and Simon. Goodbye, I called. He waved. Lest they be frightened out of their feathers, a garden separated the birds from the ogres. We passed beds of flowers while I tried to teach Char a few of the words he'd just heard. His memory was good, but his accent was unalterably Kyrian. If they heard me, the elves would never let me stand under a tree again. The gnomes would hit you over the head with a shovel. Would the ogres decide I was unworthy of consumption? We neared their hut. Even though they were locked in, soldiers were posted within arrow range. An ogre glared at us through a window. Ogres weren't dangerous only because of their size and their cruelty. They knew your secrets just by looking at you, and they used their knowledge. When they wanted to be, they were irresistibly persuasive. By the end of an ogre's first sentence in Kyrian, you forgot his pointy teeth, the dried blood under his fingernails, and the coarse black hair that grew on his face in clumps. He became handsome in your eyes, and you thought him your best friend. By the end of the second sentence, you were so won over that he could do whatever he wanted with you. Drop you in a pot to cook, or, if he was in a hurry, eat you raw. Pwek au sauk, a soft lisping voice said. Did you hear that? I asked. Doesn't sound like an ogre. Where did it come from? Pwek au sauk, the voice repeated, this time with a hint of tears in its tone. A toddler gnome poked his head out of an aqueduct only a few feet from the hut. I saw him at the same moment the ogre did. He could reach the child through the unglazed window. I started for the boy, but Char was quicker. He snatched him up just before the ogre's arm shot out. Char backed away, holding the youngster, who squirmed to get out of his grasp. Give him to me, I said, thinking I might be able to quiet him. Char handed him over. Si fra min, the ogre hissed, glaring at Char. Okay, then there's more ogres. I just can't do it, you guys. Then he turned to me and his expression changed. He started laughing. Monax among minwat. I wonder if this is like I wonder if she like went to the trouble of, making the languages somewhat consistent. I mean, I doubt she like built whole languages like they did for like Lord of the Rings, but I wonder if she made like some grammar rules and stuff like that. Like you can definitely, I will say this, it's certainly not coming through in my reading, but you can like, they all look aesthetically very different, even on the page, the different like languages. That's kind of neat. Like I like how distinctive they all are and how they kind of are a reflection of the societies that they're from. Like the ogres just looks really slimy, Anyway, he's laughing and he's talking and I'm not reading it. Tears of mirth streaked down his cheeks, leaving trails on his filthy face. Then he said in Kyrian, not bothering to make his voice persuasive, "Come to me and bring the child." I stood my ground. Now I had to break the curse. My life and another's depended on it. My knees began to tremble from the need to walk. I held back and my muscles cramped, shooting pain through my calves. I squeezed the little gnome in my effort to resist, and he yelped and twisted in my arms. The ogre continued to laugh. Then he spoke again. "Obey me this instant. Come, now." Against my will, I took a step. I stopped, and the trembling started again. Another step, and another. I saw nothing except that leering face, looming closer and closer. So that's the end of chapter 6. So, very bad news for Ella, that the ogres can tell that they don't even have to be persuasive with her. All right, so chapter 7. "Where are you going?" Char cried. He could see where I was going. "I must," I said. "Stop! I command you to stop." I stopped and stood shaking while soldiers crowded around the hut, their swords pointed at the ogre, who glared at me, then turned his back and retreated into the dim interior. "Why did you listen to him?" Char asked. I was still having trouble with the child. He was pulling his little beard and wriggling to escape. "Preach, I'm afraid," he cried. That's not at all what that says. I'm so sorry. I used his distress to avoid answering the question. "He's frightened." But Char wasn't distracted. "Why did you listen to him, Ella?" I had to answer somehow. "His eyes," I lied. "Something about them. I had to do what he wanted." "Have they found a new way to bewitch us?" Char sounded alarmed. "I must tell my father." The gnome child wailed, thrashing in the air. I wondered if the parrot's words might soothe him. I spoke them, hoping they weren't an insult. And then she says the thing that she said before. The child's face cleared and he smiled, showing pearly baby teeth. And then the child says something back, also in, I forget what he is, a gnomish. He repeated. There was a dimple in the folds of wrinkles and baby fat. I put him down and he took my hand in Char's. "His parents must be worried," I said. I didn't know how to ask him where they were, and he was probably too young to answer. They weren't by the ferocious beasts or by the grazing animals. At last, we spied an ancient female gnome sitting on the ground near the pond. Her head was between her knees, an image of defeat. Other gnomes searched the reeds and hedges or questioned passers-by. "Freshman," the little gnome called, pulling at Char and me. The old gnome stood up, her face wet with tears. "Zluff!" She grabbed him in a tight hug and covered his face and beard with kisses. Then she peered at us and recognized Char. "Highness, thank you for the return of my grandson." Char coughed, an embarrassed sound. "We're glad to bring him back, madam," he said. "He was almost an ogre's lunch." Prince Charmant saved him," I said. "And saved me too." "You have the gratitude of the gnomes." The gnome bowed her head. "I am Zataf." Hardly taller than I, she was much wider, not stout but wide, which is the direction gnomes grow after they reach adulthood. She was the most dignified personage I had ever seen, and the oldest, except for Mandy probably. Her wrinkles had wrinkles, small folds and deeper folds of leathery skin. Her eyes were deep set, and their copper color was clouded. I curtsied and wobbled. "I'm Ella," I said. More gnomes came, and we were surrounded. "How did you persuade him to come with you?" Zataf asked. "He would not go with most humans." "Ella spoke to him," Char said, sounding proud of me. "What did you say?" I hesitated. It was one thing to imitate parrots for Simon or to speak to a baby. It was another to sound like a fool in front of this stately lady. And then she says the thing again. It's so long. Okay, if you saw it, you would understand. I finally said, "No wonder he came with you," Zataf said. "Frach!" Zulf cried joyously. He squirmed in her arms. A younger gnome woman took the child. "Where did you learn to speak gnomic?" she asked. "I am Zulf's mother." I explained about the parrots. What did I say to Zulf? "It is an expression. We say it in greeting," Zataf said. "In Kyrian it is, digging is good for the wealth and good for the health." She held her hand out to me. "Zulf is not the only one you will save. I see it." What else could she see? Mandy had said a few gnomes could tell the future. "Can you see what's ahead for me?" Gnomes do not see detail. What you will wear tomorrow, what you will say are mysteries. I see outlines only. What are they? Danger, a quest, 3 figures. They are close to you, but they are not your friends. She let my hand go. "Beware of them." On our way out of the menagerie, Char said, "Tonight I shall triple the guard around the ogres, and soon I shall catch a centaur and give it to you." Dame Olga was. Then there's like a line break, so we're doing like a time jump to I think the next day. Dame Olga was punctual. She and her daughters watched while my trunk and a barrel of tonic were loaded on top of the coach. Father was there to see me off, and Mandy stood at a distance. "How few things you..." Oh, God. I did. Okay, I will do these voices. I'll try. "How few things you have," Hattie told me. Dame Olga agreed. Ella is not outfitted in accordance with her station, Sir Peter. My girls have 8 trunks between them." "Hattie has 5.5 trunks, Mother, and I have only..." Olive stopped speaking to count on her fingers. "Less. I have less, and it's not fair." Father cut in smoothly. "It's most kind of you to take Ella with you, Dame Olga. I only hope she won't be a bother." "Oh, she won't bother me, Sir P. I'm not going." Father winced at the abbreviation. Dame Olga continued. With a coachman and 2 footmen, they will be safe from everything except ogres. And from ogres, I could offer little protection. Besides, they'll have more fun without their old mother. After a pause, Father said, Not old. Never old. Madam? He turned to me. I wish you a comfortable journey, child. He kissed my cheek. I'll miss you. Liar. That's in the book. But also I agree. A footman opened the coach door. Hattie and Olive were handed in. I ran to Mandy. I couldn't leave without a last hug. Make them all disappear, please, I whispered. Oh, Ella, sweetie, you'll be fine. She clasped me hard. Eleanor, your friends are waiting, Father called. I climbed into the coach, stowing a small carpet bag in a corner, and we started to move. For comfort, I touched my chest where Mother's necklace was concealed. If she were alive, I wouldn't be rolling away from home in the company of these creatures. I would never embrace a cook, Hattie shuddered. No, I agree. What cook would let you? Hattie returned to an earlier subject. With so few belongings, the other girls will hardly know whether you're a servant or one of us. Why does your gown pucker in front? Olive asked. Is that a necklace? Why wear it under your clothes? Hattie asked. Is it ugly? Olive said. Is that why you hide it? It's not ugly. Show it to us. Ollie and I want to see it. An order. I brought it out. It didn't matter here. There were no thieves to steal it. Ooh, Olive said. It's even nicer than Mama's best chain. No one would think you were a servant with that. It's very fine. Although it's much too long for you. Hattie fingered the silver ropes. Olive, see how milky the pearls are? Olive's fingers joined Hattie's. Let go. I shifted out of their reach. We won't hurt it. May I try it on? Mother lets me try on her necklaces and I never hurt them. No, you can't. Oh, let me. There's a dear. An order. Do I have to? I asked. It slipped out. I could have swallowed my tongue. Hattie's eyes glittered. Yes, you have to. Give it over. Just for a minute, I said, unclasping it. I didn't delay. They mustn't see me struggle against the curse. Fasten it around my neck. I did so. Olive. The order had been for her sister. Thank you, my dear. Hattie settled back in her seat. I was born to wear jewels like this. Let me try it, Ella, Olive said. When you're older, Hattie answered. But I had to obey. I tried desperately to ignore Olive's order, but all my complaints started. Churning stomach, pounding temples, shortness of breath. Let her have her turn, I said through clenched teeth. See, Olive said. Ella says I can. I know what's best for you, Olive. You and Ella are both too young. I lunged at her and unfastened the necklace before she had time to stop me. Don't give it to her, Ella, Hattie said. Return it to me. I did. Give it to me, Ella, Olive said, her voice rising. Don't be so mean, Hattie. I snatched the necklace back from Hattie and passed it to Olive. Hattie stared at me. I could see her start to work out what had happened. Mother wore that necklace to her wedding, I said, hoping to deflect her thoughts. And her mother... Are you always so obedient, Ella? Return the necklace to me. I won't let her, Olive said. Yes, you will, or I'll see that you get no dinner tonight. I took the necklace away from Olive. Hattie fastened it around her neck and patted it complacently. Ella, you should give it to me. It would be a token of our friendship. We're not friends. Yes, we are. I'm devoted to you. Olive likes you too, don't you, Ollie? Olive nodded solemnly. I believe you will give it to me if I say you must. Do so, Ella, for friendship's sake. You must. No, I wouldn't. She couldn't have it. You can have it. The words burst from me. Thank you. What a generous friend we have, Olive. She changed the subject. The servants were careless when they cleaned the coach. That dust ball is a disgrace. We shouldn't have to ride in such filth. Pick it up, Ella. An order I liked. I grabbed the dust and ground it into her face. It becomes you, I said. But the satisfaction was fleeting. And that's the end of chapter 7. So next time, I can't promise next week, but hopefully next week, we will read chapter 8. I really like those 2 chapters because I think, you know, as hard as it is to read dialogue for me, and all of that, all of those fake foreign languages. I really like the development of like the relationship between Ella and Char, and I really enjoy the fact that she's just being herself, and he's just very appreciative of that. This book, it doesn't give like a ton more time than any other kind of like young adult romance to developing the relationship between the two, like, the main character and the love interest. But I think the time that it does give is what is well structured, and I think it like kind of shows him to be like a good guy who is genuinely falling for her, rather than just like, oh, they're two fated star-crossed lovers at first sight, just like that's not really a thing in this book. And also I think I mentioned it maybe back when I talked about the book for like the second time on the podcast, but the all the sort of backstory and world building that goes into all the different races, like the gnomes and the ogres, I think is really interesting and well done. So that's that. And I just in case anyone is still listening all the way to the end, I wanted to give like one tiny little cat update, which is that since we recorded that episode, which was like 5 days ago now, no, 3 or 4 days ago now, the cats have really come a long way and have been like hanging out all three together quite a lot. And Hank and Squeaks have been especially hanging out a lot. She doesn't always not hiss and growl at them, but she frequently, like, they're sleeping on the bed together right now. So I'm very happy with them. And also I got my tattoo and it looks really great. So maybe next week, I'm sure I'll talk about it next week, and maybe I'll post a picture like on Twitter or something. So anyway, have a great week, everybody. And I'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye.